south of Kakariko. But it seems we'll be starting off right now.
Yes, indeed. And just a red boomerang here in the house, and I missed what was in the sanctuary chest.
I also missed it too. Hopefully tracking will be able to save us on that. Whip. There we go. It was a piece of heart. Just caught up with it there.
Just a little bit of love.
And right now it seems like everyone's kind of running off in their own directions. Salty Fries headed towards the castle. Ivan's down exploring the bottom southern part of the world. And maybe you're not, and DKS89 going respectively to the northeast and northwest.
That's a lot of divergence early on here, and we've got some bombs on Uncle.
I think we also had bombs in the... well, let's see what happens after we leave out of here and open the dams.
Oh, hey, and Maybe or Not has actually gone ahead and done a Houlihan room, getting those early rupee pickups so he can maybe get towards Zora.
Speaking of rupee pickups for Zora, Ivan seems to be heading off a bit closer to there, as the well happened to give us 300 rupees. Now everyone's splitting up their own ways once again. Ivan heading up towards the castle. Meanwhile, Salty Fries headed towards Kakariko. Lost Woods Kakariko area.
Yeah, and maybe is taking the same route here as Ivan, going towards the castle.
Meanwhile, we got TKS and Salty Fry checking the Lost Woods, and we have Blue Mail where the mushroom is.
Good start there. Good defense.
Safety is always nice. And
Safety
let's
is
take
always nice. And just
quick
a
peek
red
to
rupee
check.
in the hideout over there.
Red Rupee also in the Hyrule Castle well. So we're coming up with a lot of nothing right now. We're kind of just working with a red boomerang.
Yeah, and that's kind of unfortunate because that can't actually kill anything.
However, we still have plenty of places to check. We still have all of Kakariko. We still have Moldorm Cave, Ice Rod, etc.
Oh, and chat pointing out the hook shot is on Lumberjack Ledge.
Hook shot on Lumberjack Ledge. So this will be an aggro required run?
Yes, it will.
Oh,
Because
no.
hook shot is always required by logic.
All right, well, let's see. DKS is checking Blind's Hut, so let's see what smorgasbord we've gotten here. First thing is the lantern. That's always a good convenience. Cane of Samaria. And 2 heart containers for the nice
Some
convenience.
love and a couple of red items, and that means we won't be seeing any dark rooms this run.
Which I'm sure the runners are relieved to see that, because dark rooms are annoying.
Oh, certainly.
But Blind having a nice stash this run.
Very much so.
And indeed, Ivan now confirming that hookshot is on the ledge.
And DKS going into Kakariko well.
All right, we got more money, so some of these runners might be heading towards... I hope you guys like red rupees. Arrow boost.
More money and a little bit of love, too. Well, another heart.
So the well's coming up. Well's coming up dry today.
Yes, indeed. Maybe we're not getting his cane and lamp.
Bokamadora from the bottle vendor, so it seems he took up a side job as a librarian. So we're starting to figure out, I think we're starting to see where the runners are going to head. We definitely know that Desert Palace is an option. You could probably finish that out with the cane if you're smart.
That is assuming it's not boots locked, because that big key could be on that torch.
This is also true. Eastern Palace is still available to check.
Very true.
We haven't gotten any gloves yet, so that means... Or the flute, so Tara of Hera isn't available yet. We haven't gotten any swords, so unless we see either Hammer or Bugnet, we can't just go to Aghanim yet.
Well, for Aghanim, you would need either the cape or the Master Sword, and as far as actually fighting him, you still need at least the fighter sword.
Do you? I thought you could use the bug net to reflect his projectiles.
I've heard you can. I've never actually seen it happen.
Well, let's see what you got in the race, and the race is for $20. So, I mean, you get your entry fee back. That's not too bad. Anyway, it looks like Maybe or Not is going to be headed down towards the milk bar, and potentially the library. I think DKS already checked that, but I didn't see what it was.
I missed that as well.
Yeah. We have no
Nothing really in the
bottles,
tavern.
so we can't check Bottle Kid yet.
Salty Fry buying some bombs.
Maybe or Not also buying some bombs, so I think we're going to be headed towards Moldorm Cave pretty soon from those two. I don't think Maybe or Not checked the well yet, or the dam. Maybe you're not taking the library check.
Actually, if I remember right, Maybe or Not was one of the first folks to check the dam.
Ooh, maybe you're not going straight for the race, not even bothering to check what it is.
Well, unfortunately, he is going to be a little bit disappointed by the reward this time around. Oh, and we get a flute to the hospital's house.
And the
ice rod.
Oh, God. All right. So we're starting to figure out where we're going. DKS headed towards Moldorm Cave. Let's see what we got over here.
There's not really a firm direction in the seed yet, but we do have options.
Yes. We got one. No, there's more. Moldorm on the left is juking those bombs.
Yeah, those things can be tricky. Lots of RNG there.
All right, so we got money in the cave. That opens up the Zora's cave to check.
Ooh, and our first sword.
First sword in Moldorm Cave, as well as a fairy in a bottle, so we can go and check Bug Kid, Sick Kid.
Yep, and Salty Fry coming over here to release the Quacken.
That's great. I've never heard that before. So, one thing we can point out is it would be technically a sequence break in logic, but at least DKS and Ivan soon can fake flipper their way over to Zora and see what's over there.
Yeah, and that'll be a sequence break. At least Zora himself will be a sequence break until they get gloves. The rest of it's a sequence break until they get flippers. So.
Pegasus boots in Ice Rod Cave.
Oh.
Oh no.
DKS is gonna go fast.
Looks like DKS has become the first speed runner of the night.
Oh, Salty Fry doing a pen check for us. And it's just
check is. Have we gotten a map check from anyone yet?
I haven't seen a map check. It's very possible I missed it, but I haven't
Speaking of, Salty Fry just pulled that up. Far too fast for me to keep track of, but I think Eastern Palace is a crystal.
That was too fast. I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Maybe you're not choosing to forego the ice cave. He's going to be quite disappointed on that.
Ivan is going over there, so he's going to get his boots.
And DKS looks like he's going to go save the princess now. Or
yes, indeed.
Would save the princess. See if there's any goodies down here.
Oh, and we're getting a desert ledge check from Maybe. And it's just a blue boomerang.
Ivan looks like he's going for bonk rocks.
Yes, Lumberjack Ledge was hookshot.
And it seems we just got everyone running around, pretty much catching up in the paces of the other people.
Yeah, not a whole lot of new checks yet, but we
Maybe
do
you're not
get one.
checking Desert Palace, which is beatable at the moment.
Yes, it is. Haven't gotten a firm look at the map yet, though, so I don't know if it's actually a crystal.
Did maybe you're not check the map, or did you just head straight towards it? More couch change at the
It's
desert.
very possible we missed a map check on his side. But it's also possible that he's listening to the music, because there is a difference in music between pendant dungeons and crystal dungeons.
Right. Anyway, it seems DKS has finished his slow descent into the dungeons,
And
only
just
ending up with a map for his purposes. I'm going to get a quick check in the safe cave from Maybe or Not and Ivan.
yes,
For the Moon Pearl.
Pearl.
That is a wonderful thing for them to see.
Certainly, that's their first piece of the puzzle for Dark World access. Now they just need gloves and hammer, or 2 pairs of gloves. Oh, and I missed it, but Salty Fry set up a water walking glitch.
So we will be able to see what we have available there.
Which is the powder.
Powder! Always good to have. That's another check you can use.
Yeah, it only opens up 1 actual check, but it is a very great safety because you can turn the anti-fairies into fairies.
Absolutely. Moon Pearl also providing more evidence towards killing Aghanim. Unfortunately, because...
Oh, and we've got gloves and bombos in the back of Escape.
Gloves and bombos. Interesting. Bombos, of course, will end up being potentially useful for opening those last 2 dungeons. As far as if they actually will, only time will tell for now.
And if they need to head into Ice Palace and can't find the fire rod, it's useful there as well.
And it would seem that the Desert Palace is indeed a crystal, as hearing the music from Ivan can tell us.
Yes, indeed. Oh, and according to chat, we've got all 3 Light World dungeons as crystals. So they're going to want to clear those out.
So it seems all the runners are headed towards Desert Palace right now. Maybe you're not going for the duck now that he got his palace done. I think he finished the palace. Let's see what Bug Kid has for us. $20. I think he wants us to go get his cough medicine.
Yeah, but we're not returning there ever again.
Nah. Note to self, don't trust Link with your health insurance. I've been heading down to the Palace Escape. So he should be picking up the bombos and gloves as well.
That is assuming he doesn't cut back after getting down to Zelda's chest down at the bottom and leaving, which is definitely a possibility.
Absolutely. And you will need to go through Escape in order to get to the Desert Palace boss fight.
That is true.
And considering DKS has his power gloves already, that means he is in a bit of an advantage compared to the rest of the runners. considering he will not need to return back to Hyrule Castle in order to just go straight to Moldorm.
That is true. Of course,
And we can see him doing that right now.
even with the advantage, I mean, it's still very early in the race. It's pretty much impossible to tell how it's going to wind up in the end.
Salty Fry heading up to Death Mountain. Let's see if the old man has any goodies for us this time.
And Ivan getting his... Oh, forgetting he has a fairy for his death warp. Fortunately, he did leave that green guard alive, so he doesn't have to waste bombs or anything. But it does take some time.
Old man giving us a piece of heart. And DKS is now at the boss fight.
Yeah, let's see how he gets this done. Doing a pretty decent job of staying out of the Land Mole's way, but still taking a couple of hits while he takes care of it. And with that fighter sword, it is going to take a little bit.
Yeah. You get so used to watching Master Sword and Temper Sword runs through this, you almost forget how vanilla works. But DKS doing a fantastic job cleaning up Land Mola.
Oh, and I almost missed it. Salty Fries found the hammer in Spectacle Rock Cave.
Hammer, I believe that'll be at least half of the required tools to fighting Aghanim. So now we will either need to see a sword upgrade or the cape in order to storm Hyrule Castle.
Yes, indeed. And while we know where the gloves are, as soon as Salty Fry picks those up, he'll have Dark World access as well. Which really means the only thing we need to kill Aghanim for is that hook shot.
And, of course, Dark World access will give us a couple more places we can check. We could check the Palace of Darkness. We don't have the mirror, so we can't check Swamp Palace yet. We can also check the Catfish.
We also don't have flippers, so Swamp is out for that as well.
Yes. Anywho, it seems the runners are kind of just covering each other's steps. Salty Fry doing the same. No, he's checking the
magic bat. Yeah.
Will the bat be the key?
We'll soon find out.
Or will it only drive Salty Fry batty?
Yeah, we just got a little bit of love in the Bonk Rocks.
And Salty Fry is going to receive
it's
the cape from the bat! I think it's time to fight Aghanim.
Just about. I mean, he could do some more checks before going in. And he still hasn't done the back of Escape yet, so he could get his gloves there. And maybe he'll hold off on Aghanim, but it doesn't look like it.
In the meantime, fantastic hover from Ivan to get the hammer at Spectacle Rock.
I didn't know Andy was playing this race.
Ivan's also going to take this time to head to the Dark World. And we'll begin our searches there. So what do we have available in the Dark World right now? We have Tree Boy, we have Hype Cave,
The dig game, of course.
we have Catfish. I think we have Catfish.
Village of Outcasts.
Ether Medallion and Hype Cave.
Oh, and a Master Sword.
That's a pretty good haul for Hype Cave.
Yeah, that's a.
And here we go. It will appear that Swamp Palace, Village, Thieves Town, and Skullwoods will not be required this run. However, Swamp Palace may be required if Sahasrara has some goodies.
True enough. Oh, and I did miss Ether on the first run through of Hype Cave, although I'm pretty sure you said it.
And then we have Tree Boy giving us a shield. Always good to have some more defense.
Shield is a little bit disappointing on that end, but
Yeah.
it's new works. I've been doing the dig game.
Shield does change up the constant drudgery of rupees, though. I've been pulling up the Piece of Heart for the digging game.
That's a vanilla piece of heart there.
Salty Fry heading down into the sewers and to escape in order to catch up with the rest of the group and grab the gloves.
Yes, indeed, which will give him his Dark World access. We'll see if he chooses to run with that or go up and take out Aghanim.
Well, we do know that Aghanim is required for this run, so to some degree it's interesting to see the players. I guess they're still looking for the way, since Salty Fry did sequence break for the powder.
That is true.
However, it would seem Ivan is going to be the first into the castle tower.
Yeah, he did actually. Yes, he did do the sequence break to get the powder, but getting these gloves will negate that particular sequence break.
Yes.
So now that he has the gloves, everything he has is within logic.
And Salty Fry after you.
Looks like we're getting a pyramid check from DKS. And probably a hype cave from Salty Fry.
That will certainly help out the Aghanim fight. Interesting that DKS is checking the pyramid, considering Aghanim is required in logic.
That is true. I mean, they are going to wind up back there as soon as they take Aghanim out.
And DKS heading over to the Palace of Darkness. He does have the money to pay off Kiki, and still have enough to pay Zora afterwards. However, Pot is not beatable right now because the bow is still unavailable.
Very true. In fact, it might even be bow locked, depending on what they get in that first chest.
Come to think of it, has anyone checked Eastern Palace yet?
No. I don't think we've seen anybody dip Eastern.
Anyway, it would seem Ivan has made his way up to Aghanim.
Yes, indeed. And Pod is not immediately bow locked.
We have begun our first of the Keylicious dungeons. at least on DKS's side. Meanwhile, Maybe or Not has made his way to Catfish. Let's see if Catfish has anything that we're looking for.
Just 20 rupees.
And money.
Salty Fry getting his dirty heart piece and deciding to leave it.
Looks like DKS is set to take a deep dig into Palace of Darkness. Getting nothing but keys so far.
Yeah, it looks like it really wants him to push towards the back there. And we've got Salty Fry making his way into Aghanim's tower. So
Maybe
he'll
you're
be
not
our
about
next
to-
runner.
Maybe or Not is about to take the disappointing sword check.
Yes, indeed. That couch cash.
I mean, I guess you could get Chipotle with it. Interesting. So we see the Bugnet in Pod.
That's interesting. I wonder if we get to see any Swaganim strats today.
Well, considering we get 2 fights with Agon in this match, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, have we seen DKS get the big key so far in Pod?
I don't think so. Maybe just getting another shield from
Never mind.
the chest game. Oh, did you just pick up?
He just grabbed it now on his way to the chest.
Convenient placement.
Also picking up the Cane of Berna in the Dark Maze.
Oh, that's a nice item to have. Cane of Burn is actually one of my personal favorites for fighting blind. Not that they'll need it for that in this case. Just
Also quite
makes
fun
the
to fight
fight
Vitreous
trivial.
with.
Say again?
Also quite fun to fight Vitreous with. We got Silver Arrows in Sea House.
Ooh, nice find. That'll be really useful when they actually find the bow.
And Maybe or Not is going to dip into Thieves Town.
Well, I don't blame him. That's 4 relatively easy items to get. Of course, we're just starting out with the big key, so we'll see what the rest of it gives him.
Absolutely. Ivan is headed off to get the hook shot, which will open up a couple new options. Can open up the northern part of Dark World.
It does also open up his access to Eastern Death Mountain.
Yes! There's a fair assortment of loot to be found there as well.
Certainly, certainly. And another ped check, this time by DKS.
Maybe or Not has finished checking the 4 front room checks of Thieves Town, and it looks like he's going deeper.
I personally find that decision a little interesting, considering it is a pendant dungeon, but can't really blame him for it either.
I mean, sometimes the randomizer goddess gives us some very wacky seeds. For instance, I've seen a couple times where you've had to go straight through Ice Palace as a pendant dungeon to get the items you need, so perhaps this full check could turn out to his advantage.
Perhaps. We'll see.
And I think this next play that Maybe or Not is going to take will show his motives. He is going to bomb open the floor, so that at least gives me the impression that he plans to fight blind.
It is quite possible. It could also be muscle memory, but we'll see, I guess. Oh, and we get a bow in Paradox Cave. And a red potion.
Hey, those are nice.
But that bow, that's really nice. And as soon as Ivan makes his way over to... And there he goes hovering again. But as soon as he makes his way over to Village of Outcasts, to the Sea House, he'll get his silvers as well.
Really interesting scene we're seeing so far. At least the bow being locked behind Aghanim is a tedious assortment to work with, for sure.
Fortunately, it wasn't locked too heavily.
And the big chest just giving us some bombs in Thieves Town.
And it looks like he is just going to save and quit out.
Ivan making his ether check which will give half magic. That's good to have against Mothula, Cold Stare.
Anytime
Trimax.
you use magic.
Pretty much anytime you use magic. And quick basement check from Ivan. Looks like we're headed right up the tower.
Yes, indeed. No coffee break room yet.
And Ivan's going to pull an arrow from that chest to use with his freshly found bow. Meanwhile, DKS, I believe, is the last person to climb Ganon's tower. Did maybe or not defeat Aghanim already?
I don't think maybe or not has been up the tower. I know Ivan has.
Ivan has, Salty Fry has, and I believe DKS is going to be the third up there.
Yeah, DKS is going to be the third one up.
Excellent. And Ivan's going to head straight up the Tower of Hera. I will admit I was paying complete attention to what he was grabbing. But he's going with the hammer strats on the giant Moldorm. And getting knocked down, oof.
Salty Fry picking up his bow in the meantime. And DKS entering his Aghanim fight. While Ivan comes back up for another try.
And not getting too lucky on the Mothula fight. Hammer is faster, however, takes a second and takes a mile and a half to swing.
True enough, and that hitbox is a little bit wonky to get used to.
However, Ivan's going to enact his revenge, successfully defeating Giant Moldorm. And for his purposes, he's going to get some bombs.
That's kind of a disappointing prize.
Meanwhile, maybe or not is checking Skull Woods and getting the red tunic for his troubles. Not necessarily what we want to see, but I'm certain he's not too disappointed to see it either.
Oh, certainly. You always prefer to see progression, but a good defensive item like that, it's always nice to have.
And it looks like he's going to be heading up towards Invisi-Mountain. For 10 rupees, not worth his trouble. He's going to bail out of that.
And we've got Ivan running his way through Spiral.
And for his trouble, he's going to get 5 arrows.
Still no progression. Of course, at this point, there's not really a whole lot we're missing.
This is true. However, we still need the fire rod to fight Trimax. And then we got
Fire Rod to get into be able to fight Mothula.
However, Mothula is not required for the seeds, so unless he's hiding,
That is
say,
true.
Quake Medallion.
Oh, wouldn't that be a troll?
Oh, that would be terrible. I'm finally getting the flute. We also still need the Titan's Mitts in order to actually get into Misery Mire and Turtle Rock.
Yes, indeed. And then also, we'll be needing the flippers to get into Ice Palace.
Yes.
Oh, and we finally have a runner going into Eastern Palace. Ivan will be our first one there. Salty Fry getting his bombs off of Moldor.
You know what? I'm going to make a bold prediction. Zora's flippers have been in Eastern Palace the whole time. I feel like throwing that out there. I'm feeling psychic.
I can't say I would be surprised.
If I were to feel particularly vindictive, I would say it's behind Armos Knights, but there's no way the seed would be that mean.
Well, I mean, even if the flippers were behind Armos Knights, it is a crystal dungeon, so they're going to want to complete it anyway.
Yes.
Oh, and DK has come out of Paradox Cave. He's got his bow.
And it will seem that we're going to end up with Mirror Shield in this particular run.
It does seem to be pretty.
At least for maybe or not.
With the shields. And as I see somebody pointing out in chat, yes, technically you don't need the flippers this seed because you can fake flipper to Ice Palace. But logically.
Salty Fry also taking his spelunking into Eastern Palace.
Yes, indeed.
Vanilla Big Key. Let's see what the big chest has to hold for us.
Yeah, it's just the compass. Which means, if I counted right, the Armos Knights will have an item.
I'm feeling psychic. What can I say? I did not count for Tower of Hera, but will they need to go into the basement?
I don't believe so. I've been having a little bit of trouble with that Igor, but he took him out just fine.
All right, let's see. I think we're about to see if my psychic paid off. Will the Armor Knights have flippers?
Oh, see, pretty quick. He's got that quick kill strat down,
Nope.
and it's just a little bit of love.
So close. But that is a crystal. It's actually either crystal 5 or crystal 6, which means we're halfway towards Fat Fairy.
Yes, indeed. Actually, that is the other. That is Ivan's second 5/6 crystal, because Tower of Hera was the other one.
Ah, so we might be seeing Fat Fairy soon. In fact, I believe Ivan's heading his way down there right now.
It would seem that way. It's probably the fastest Fat Fairy check I've seen.
You will need to take the long way around, though. I don't think you can save and quit with the bomb. And with no mirror, he was going to have to take a bit of a walk.
That is true, but it's not terrible. Oh, never mind.
He's going into
up
pod. That's actually a pretty good play. He does have the bow and hammer.
Oh, and maybe getting his hook shot.
However, Salty Fry is on Ivan's heels, only two rooms away from Armos.
Yes, indeed. And we'll get to see if Salty Fry can get that quick kill down as well. No reason to think you won't.
Maybe you're not on his way to get the bow. About to the Eastern Death Mountain check.
And DKS getting his flute. The last of our 4 featured runners to get it. As Salty Fry does indeed finish up the Armos Knights nice and quick.
And he's fluting away. I think he's going to check that Fairy Flurry for us.
That does seem to be the setup. I didn't think about it before, but this is the faster location to get to the bomb shop from.
And Titan's Mid in Tower, Titan's Mid in Pod.
Ooh, that is a good find.
So we are well on our way to seeing our first potential Misery Mire and Turtle Rock checks.
Unless one of them, or both of them, are blocked by Quake.
Secretly, I'm hoping for that. I'm too fond of seed trolls.
Well, of course, as a spectator, you're always looking for the trolls. They're the most entertaining to watch.
And Salty Fry is almost at the Fat Fairy. Will it be worth the effort?
We'll soon find out. Just 100 rupees. So, got his money back.
And Ivan going for the turtle strikes.
Yep, taking a death warp there.
Quite shell-shocked to see what was in that chest.
And it looks like Salty's going to be making his way into pod as well. So, following Ivan in that regard, we've got Maybe You're Not making his way up the Tower of Hera, and DKS making his way through Eastern.
Salty Fry, fortunately, having enough money to pay off Kiki this time. I guess that is one benefit from the Fat Fairy.
Certainly, certainly.
So right now we're seeing a lot of already tread territory. So a good time to kind of chat up on what's been going on. Powder is currently locked behind Zora, and Silvers was in Sea House.
Yes, indeed. We had the bow was up in Paradox Cave. The flute was in Sahasral's hut.
The Power Glove and Titan's Mitt, respectively, were in Hyrule Castle Escape and Palace of Darkness. Pegasus Boots was in Ice Rod.
And the hookshot was in Lumberjack Cave, while the Moon Pearl was in Agina's cave.
We're getting some good spin strats from Maybe You're Not. Almost fallen, but able to catch it on there.
A well done Moldorm fight there.
It sure was a blast. And we have Canis Mario, so we might as well take the frames on that one. And no one having a green potion, so no one's going to potion glitch this.
Well, with the bow, there's no reason to.
And Ivan once again returning to untread territory, heading down into the Palace of Darkness basement. As Salty Fry grabs the Titan's Mitt.
Yes, indeed. Almost right on Ivan's heels. Of course, he does still have to go check out the backside. Ivan having a little bit of trouble with those turtles. They can be a pain in the butt.
However, he is on his way to the Helmasaur King. I think we got all the items in this dungeon, so this will just be a run for the crystal.
I'll be honest, I wasn't really counting.
One thing to remember is, as far as clearing out all these other bosses, Maybe You're Not does have a slight advantage through the silver arrows he acquired in Thieves Town, or Sea House.
That is true.
However, he will still have a bit of work ahead of him if he wants to beat out Ivan's time with the Helmasaur King, getting his third crystal for his efforts.
Yeah, they're making pretty decent work out of these bosses. But, again, Maybe You're Not does have that advantage, because, like with the Helmasaur King, as soon as that helmet comes off, it only takes a single silver arrow to finish him off.
And Salty Fry taking either a death warp or a death, but doesn't seem to be setting him back too far. And where is Ivan headed off to? Probably to go redeem that flute he found I don't think he had the warps up until now.
I think you're right. Yeah.
In time to
There
hear the
is-
sweet, sweet songs of, now that's what I call Link to the Past.
And once again, the goose is loose.
DKS making decent work out of the turtle room. And we're off to check Misery Mire.
Let's see what
So-
wonders it holds today.
Will it be quick? No, it's Bombos.
Okay, so we do have access to be able to enter Misery Mire right now, if we so choose.
Crossing my fingers for Turtle Rock.
And we get Tempered Sword out of the Mire Shed.
Ah, some nice, delicious bread. Fresh and hot, straight out of the swamp.
Not sure I would trust bread I found in a swamp. And it does look like Ivan's could go ahead and make his way into the mire.
I mean, it's right there. You're already checking around there, so why not, right?
Oh, certainly. And it's a crystal, so there's no reason not to. Got Salty Fry doing his Helmosaur fight.
Ooh,
Taking some damage there. He's getting a little bit low. And he finishes off just fine, so all's well that ends well in there.
DKS is checking King's Grave.
Just a big 20 down there. Not much of a ransom.
And there's your map. Ivan going back to either. I don't think he got the big key yet, so it does not seem like he's riding around the hover.
Yeah, he's still got some more checks he's got to make. Not quite a Godmire.
And maybe you're not introducing the Armos to his nice silver collection.
And Salty Fry going into Desert Palace.
Curious to do that before Mire, because I think if you walk out of Mire, you should go straight into the back of Desert.
Only if you have the mirror, which they do not.
Right. And Ivan's starting to enter a bit of key sanity over here.
Well, a fun little note on that is if the compass room chest has a key, the big key has to be in its vanilla location. Not 100% certain behind the logic behind it, but that is the case.
And DKS is about to get some bread of his own. Some delicious soggy bread. DKS actually on his way to the fourth crystal. I believe he's already cleared out Desert Palace. Okay. I've been continuing to spelunk through the mire, though.
And DKS joining Ivan in the mire.
Did DKS actually, did DKS do Desert Palace? I know someone did.
I'm not certain.
I'm pretty sure he did it with Fighter's Sword, because we did make a note of that earlier.
Yeah, it was either DKS or maybe you're not. I don't remember which.
Meanwhile,
Now.
Salty Fry is deciding to go Cane of Berna Land Mola.
I'll admit, I've never seen that before.
It's looking to be quite effective, though. Holy cow. Meanwhile, Ivan heading down to Visitor Meyer basement.
Yes, indeed. So he'll be making his way to Vitreous, and he hasn't been over to the Village of Outcasts yet, so he does not have his silver arrows. Silvers would make the Vitreous fight pretty trivial.
Good little Samaria use from Ivan. Meanwhile, Salty Fry is about to join his fellow racers in the mire.
After picking up his bacon sword, of course.
Mmm. Swampy, swampy bacon.
DKS making his way up to the cutscene room so he can get his big key while Ivan starts in on Vitreous. Making quick work of those small eyeballs.
Only catching one lightning cycle, and even the tail end of it, which, as far as RNG goes, not too shabby. Gonna get
Not at all.
accomplished for his efforts. Maybe you're not getting the largest shield out of everyone, catching the mirror shield in pod.
DKS has his Meyer big key now. Let's see where Ivan is heading.
Turtle Rock?
Very possible, at the very least, Dark Death Mountain.
Choosing to skip out on Desert Palace.
Interesting decision. Not necessarily.
Very strange.
It's not necessarily a bad decision, but because we know there's not really much of importance in Desert Palace aside from the crystal itself, but still interesting.
A crystal still is valuable, and considering he's right there, that's not the worst move I can think of to make. Just gonna grab some money from the Dark World cave, though.
Sure enough, and of course you still don't have the mirror, so he would have had to save and quit and flute back, regardless.
And we have Ether for Turtle Rock.
So we don't have
Breaking
to
my
worry
heart
about
over here.
Quake today.
Let's see what Hookshot has in store for us. Piece of heart.
Blue rupee.
More hearts.
And the mirror!
Hey! Sure, Ivan's overjoyed to see that right now.
It is very useful to have. It's actually not required in this particular seed, because you don't need a Swamp Palace. Well, unless Fire Rod happens to be in Swamp Palace, but...
There's still hope. And I was going to check Burn a Cave. Let's see. Let's see if the spikes are worth it on this one.
Just a big 20.
I'm rich! Let's see, what else?
Having a pretty quick kill against Vitreous.
Well, maybe you're not about to fight Aghanim. Not Aghanim. Helmstar King with the silver arrows. So once he gets past this helmet, it's one and done.
Yes, indeed. Oh, that would be rude. Looking at chat, we could have
Oh no!
a different mirror lock location, true, but what if we have Fire Rod in Swamp Palace, but the Flippers in Turtle Rock?
Here's the real question. What if Fire Rod is behind Sarsaparilla?
Oh, that would be very rude.
Evan's going to pick up a quick 100, though. Interesting that he's walking around instead of taking the mirror route.
It is true, but there are a lot of times where you're doing this check and you haven't had to do Aghanim, so it could just be autopilot.
Very well. Maybe you're not about to take his Dark World check. No, he's going straight to Turtle Rock. DKS is also going to head into Turtle Rock right now.
He might not be heading immediately into Turtle Rock. He might just be opening it up for when he gets around to entering it.
Sure would be a shame if we had Mimic Cave Fire Rod or Mimic Cave Flippers right now. You're absolutely right. DKS taking the couple checks over on this side of the Dark World that he needs.
Makes perfect sense. And maybe you're not getting his check in as well, and we'll see if he's... Oh wait, he's already... No, maybe you're not, hasn't been up here just yet.
Meanwhile, Ivan's going to check Skullwoods to get his... I believe it was for him the Mirror Shield now.
I believe so.
Which is helpful in Turtle Rock.
Oh, certainly. That laser bridge can be brutal if you're not careful. Of course, they do have the Cane of Burna, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Maybe you're not grabbing his mirror.
And grabbing a quick little key.
We got Salty Fry heading into Ice Palace without the Fire Rod, so he's going to be using Bombos.
Also using fake flippers. So here we go with another sequence break. Now, will he be doing a complete check of Ice Palace, or will he just go straight to Cold Stare?
I imagine with Fire Rod still missing, as well as Flippers. Well, okay, definitely not going to find Flippers in here. But
no,
with
Flippers
Fire
are
Rod still missing, I imagine he's yeah, it looks like he's doing actual checks.
So far, getting a key. Ivan going to show off a little bit and hover over to the chest for his red mail.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like DKS is going to do a Spike Cave check. So he's going to be a little bit disappointed with that 20 rupees at the end of that.
Oh, here we go. Here's the real troll route. I think I just figured this out. So hear me out on this one. Flippers is behind Sahasrara, and then Fire Rod is in Waterfall Cave.
Flippers cannot be behind Sahasrara
Right.
because they're required for Swamp.
But what if? Ah. Salty Fry setting up for a bomb jump. Excellent technique.
It was a very nice bomb jump. That one's not an easy one to get. Definitely takes a decent amount of practice. I almost missed it down on Ivan's screen, but it's just a blue rupee in the graveyard ledge. And then he's going to get his King's Tomb check.
Gonna take that solid 20. I haven't been paying much attention to Salty Fry recently, so I don't know if he got the big key yet, but it would seem by his routing that he's not. And I guess he's going straight for Cold Stare.
It would definitely look that way. So not even worrying about the other items in the dungeon right now.
No, which is very interesting considering the only bosses he has left to fight require the Fire Rod. So if Fire Rod ends up being in Ice Palace, he's going to be in for a rough time.
Yeah, it could take him quite a while to come back for that. And DKS getting his silvers. And we get a Mimic Cave check from Maybe or Not.
No, I don't believe anybody has fought blind yet.
No, we have not yet seen a blind fight.
Meanwhile, DKS is going to be checking the blacksmith.
And Salty Fry did finish up Cold Stare.
What did he get for that? Just a 20?
I totally missed it.
Ooh, Maybe or Not has found the flippers. And Turtle Rock Big Key.
An interesting spot to find it.
The question is Fire Rod back here? Because right now it seems like signs are pointing to a Swamp Palace check?
Could be Swamp Palace. It could still be Ice Palace, though.
We're about to have the blacksmith check, maybe followed by the purple chest check.
Very possible. That's usually how people like to run it.
And TKS is going to do just that. Meanwhile, Maybe or Not is going to head down to Swamp Palace. So let's see if our Sahasrara Fire Rod dreams are true.
Salty Fry opening up Turtle Rock. Oh, hey, we have Mushroom here in the K45.
Which I guess we'll let DKS do the powder check.
It does open up fake powder, or if he chooses to, he can run over to the witch, which also kind of brings my attention to the fact that Salty Fry is still the only one that's actually gone up and paid Zora.
Yes. However, we do know that so far powder is not required for this run.
That is true. That is true. Because the powder, the magic bat did only just the cape was on the magic bat, so useful
It looks
item,
like
but not progression.
DKS is about to check bombos though. So let's see, fire for fire.
Nope, just a big 20. Wrong red item. But we are getting that swamp check out of maybe or not. So see if it's in here. I imagine the other runners are actually gonna probably avoid swamp for a while. So if it is in here, that's actually a pretty good advantage for maybe or not. Definitely save him some time.
You also can't check the two. We're also missing a few more chests in Turtle Rock because of the fire rod missing. You definitely cannot check the two beginning rooms.
That is very true.
It would appear that the big key is back there at least. Considering maybe you're not left before checking Laser Bridge.
Right. Not getting a whole lot out of Swamp Palace.
Maybe you're not grabbing the quick key. Is he going to head to the back, or is he going to go straight?
It looks like he's going left side.
I mean, this seems to be a bit of a debate among runners where it's quicker to just go straight to the boss. However, you have a bunch of items on the west side of Swamp Palace that if you end up passing it up, you're not going back there for a while.
Very true. And personally, whenever it comes to that, if I still have a few items left for until go mode, I will usually check left side. But obviously, if you're in go mode, you're not even going to worry about it.
Ooh! We have found the fire rod. Fire rod is behind Mushroom.
Huh. So DK is our first runner with the fire rod.
And that is potential go mode?
Oh, and it looks like he forgot he doesn't have flippers, so setting up that fake flipper now.
So I guess we're in fake go mode for DKS.
Yeah, that is fake go mode.
Ivan does have the mushroom, which will provide him with the witch check at some point.
Yeah, and he is in
but
that
maybe you're not
area.
in Salty Fry. They might not check the mushroom for a while.
True enough.
Ivan's going to get his powder, though. So that'll be quite useful. Meanwhile, Salty Fry about to check Bimbic Cave, hoping to see the red fire rod, but the other kind of red's going to show up.
Yeah. Not getting your fire rod just yet. Gotta go talk to the witch.
Interesting that you're using the statue for this and not... Maybe you're not using the statue for... Oh, wait a minute. That means Swamp Palace is a wash.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, no.
Not a terrible play by maybe you're not. It was a decent gamble, but unfortunately we now know it's not paying off. And
No.
That's a significant time sink, too.
Speaking of paying off, Ivan's about to get the fire rod.
Yep. Ivan's got his fire rod now, so that puts him. Well, it would be good. Looks like he's also going to be setting up for that fake flipper. So
All right.
we've got another
Ivan
fake
also.
go mode.
I hope maybe gets like something for his troubles at this point. Like, I don't know, maybe Sahasrara has Quake. Right now, signs are pointing to nothing.
Yeah, there's not really much that it could have. Not much that would be useful, anyway.
Mm. Salty Fry about to check Bombos to get that other red item.
Yeah, seen that big 20 and just dashing out of there. DKS in his cold stare fight. As maybe or not finishes up Argus. Oh no. No. Don't hope for that. Shovel on Sahasrara would be terrible.
Oh. Oh. That broke my heart.
Oh, and he didn't get the big chest, so he's coming back in too.
Oh, maybe, please. Salty Fry also going to check Swamp Palace.
Oh no.
Ugh. This is quite a divergence we're having right here.
I really can't blame them for making this decision. Knowing what we know, it hurts.
Oh. So I guess we're going to end up in two different races here now. We got Ivan and DKS racing to finish the game, and Salty Fry and maybe looking for the fire rod. Maybe, hopefully, on his way there.
Yeah, he's about to check K45 and get his mushrooms, so maybe his next stop will be that witch, so he'll get his.
Actually, he hasn't checked Sahasrara either, so what do you do at that point? Do you check Sahasrara and maybe shovel, or do you go straight for mushroom?
Well, I mean, they're both relatively easy to get to. Because, I mean, you can always just Mirror Delight roll the flute over towards the Dark World portal next to Pod, and then just run up to Sahasrara from there, and then just do another flute up to the witch.
Absolutely. Ivan cleaning up Cold Stare, meaning he is 3 dungeons away from cleaning up his crystals. His remaining crystals being in Desert Palace, Ice Palace, and Turtle Rock. Ice Palace, as we did point out earlier that Ivan did choose to skip Desert Palace, which is an interesting play, certainly.
It's definitely an interesting play, but I mean, it's not exactly the longest dungeon, so skipping it wasn't really too detrimental.
Speaking of skipping it, he's heading back there right now.
It looks like he's doing a check. Oh, never mind, he's teleporting right there.
Meaning that after this is done, it's going to be Ivan and DKS racing to get to the back of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, although DKS is already making his way through now.
Meaning DKS is almost on his way to get the lead.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he picks up those flippers, he'll know that he's definitely in go mode, doesn't have to worry about anything. Which, I mean, really he doesn't anyway, because he's already completed Ice Palace. He's already done
Yeah,
what
you're
he
kind
needs
of.
to do with the flippers.
If you don't think you're in go mode in DK's position, then I'd say you're playing a bit too cautiously. Anywho, we're gonna have Ivan do Landmola with silvers, so that'll be nice and quick.
Oh yeah, those worms
Ooh,
didn't stand a chance.
maybe he just dropped off the mushroom with the witch and then fluted over to somewhere. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing right now.
I guess it's possible that we missed him picking up the shovel.
Did he?
Yeah,
Okay,
he
so
does
yeah,
have
he
the
got the
shovel.
shovel. Oh, for the big red.
Not the right red item. Oh, chat pointing out Sahasrara was the one with shovel.
Oh, which means
So,
Salty Fry's going to take the bait too.
very possible. And Salty Fry also still hasn't checked K45, so he doesn't have
No,
his mushroom.
but maybe you're not. Doubling back to the witch, getting the fire rod. And he is also about to do Landmola.
Oh,
Meaning,
he's going into Mire first.
oh yeah, he hasn't finished Meyer yet. However, this does leave Salty Fry as the last one to go on the witch hunts.
That is true. We've got DKS heading into Trinix.
Fun piece of trivia. Did you know he's called Trinix because he has 3 necks?
Thank you for that.
Thank Patty, I just stole it. Alright, so let's see what Trinix is going to give us. Anything good? More bombs. Not the worst right now. Which means DKS has gotten all his crystals, so we get to play our favorite game of the night.
Not officially, of course. That's we don't do that quite for the 4 men, but we can still do it for fun. So we have a nice little game, the big key guessing game. Try to guess what chest the big key for Ganon's Tower is going to be in. I usually go with number 7. How about you?
You know what? Considering how the seed's been, I'm going to say 18.
I can dig it.
Because no one wants 18, but I think going hard on 23 is going to be too much.
And we've got Salty Fry with his mushroom now, so hopefully he'll be getting his fire rod pretty soon.
DKS checking the right side first. Of course, he doesn't know his current position. However, if you are in, do you think DKS thinks he's in the lead?
It's really kind of hard to tell. This seed has been pretty trolly, and he could think that some of the other racers have made some better decisions here and there, or have made a gamble that worked out.
So yeah, I guess he's going to stick with more standard routing on this one. Anywho, we're taking our backroom check. So far, getting Bupkis.
And nothing all the way up to 7 so far. And oh, he's going back to right side.
I don't know how I feel about that. Usually people go straight through.
It is definitely an interesting decision. Let's see how it plays out.
It's going to end up going to the right. Skipping past the floor tile room.
Do not blame him there.
That does have a chest in it, right?
It does.
The ultimate troll?
In fact, I've seen the big key being in that tile room chest a couple of times, and it was the last chest to be checked.
Struggling a bit with the Gibdos, wanting to give him a hug.
It's 8, 9, 10, and 11 here. Nothing still.
Is he going to stick with it or double back again?
It looks like he's sticking with this.
12 also turning out to be a dud. Evan's got a good rhythm going on the moving floor. Oh no!
Embodied by that turtle a little bit. And we got Ivan about to head into his Trinex fight, as we got Maybe You're Not going and taking down Vitreous very quickly.
2 silvers. I believe one of the only bosses besides Ganon who isn't just going to die from 1 silver.
Very true.
Got a glitched out anti-fairy with DKS.
Yep. Bob lives.
Never seen that before. And we're heading into the Armos fight, but it's silvers, so who cares?
Oh yeah, Armos gets taken down quite quickly with that. And into these last 3 chests over here.
This will be 10, 11, 12, I think? I lost count.
I honestly lost count as well.
8. I think it's actually 11. I think the key you checked before was 8. So, tile room is still on the table. Will we get the troll?
But there's also still all the way over to... Okay, thank you, chat. We're at 15 right now. But we still got all the way over to Rando Room.
18 is looking pretty nice right now, I must say.
Alright, this will be check number 16.
And it's 16. Big key acquired, and we're on our way. Meaning, Ivan does have a chance to take it back if he chooses to stay left.
That is very true.
I'm not sure if it's enough time to necessarily overtake DKS, but it'll certainly give him a better chance of catching up.
Most certainly. And we actually haven't had any runners done yet, so DKS and Ivan are still very much in the running for first place.
One thing to point out, especially this late in the game, a lot of people may have forgotten, I believe DKS still has his fairy from the beginning of the game. And Ivan used that, forgetting about a death warp.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, if this ends up going down to even 1 death each, DKS has a strong advantage right now.
And Ivan picking up his big key in relatively short order, he did choose to stay left side. As Salty Fry is opening the entrance to Ganon's Tower himself. And maybe you're not getting his crystal from the Land Mollusk, and he's going to be making his way probably over to Ice Palace, possibly up to Turtle Rock.
Oh yeah, maybe you're not a bit behind. Speaking of Landmola, DKS take a little bit of time to deal with Landmola, the fireball launcher, giving him a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he did take some damage there.
And Salty Fry checking his way through the keys to climb up the tower. Considering he was the last one to get the fire rod, not a bad run by him. Certainly catching up with the other two.
Oh yeah, not a bad run at all. He's got some good, I've forgotten the word for it now. Execution, that word.
Definitely has chops on his side. Ooh, actually, while we're heading up to the fight, we've seen Ivan hover a couple times. You think he's going to hover past Moldorm?
He very well might. That would be fun to see.
That does take a bit of time, so that might allow him to either catch up or overtake DKS.
Quite possibly, that would be an interesting play to see too. If they were both just have DKS in the Moldorm fight and have Ivan just hover out of it.
Imagine if the game went down to that.
I would be very impressed. And quite entertained.
And isn't that what we're here for in the end? Oh, DKS getting knocked down by Moldorm. If Ivan hovers, this could certainly set him back. Or set DKS back.
Yeah, but DKS does get that kill, so let's just wait for that chest to pop up, and there we go.
I'm not even going to bother checking it. Who cares? At this point, the only reason you would have to check is, silvers, if you didn't have them?
Right, and we will probably see Salty Fry making a few checks on his way up, because he never made his way over to the Sea House.
Ooh. Alright, time for DKS to break out his degree in trigonometry. I don't know if that's actually his degree, but we're going to see some angles going on here.
Yes, indeed.
There we go. Ivan hovers past Moldorm.
And we have seen a couple of blue balls already from Aghanim, so didn't get a count, but there was at least two.
DKS was also missing a couple shots, so I'd say Ivan can do it in one cycle if he lines up everything properly.
Well, there needs to be at least 6 hits on him, so...
Well, there's 3.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But that second shot had the blue ball, so... I like St. Tommy boys. Agonometry. So, Ivan heading down to his Ganon fight as DKS works on his.
What is that? Cycle 2, I think? Clever use of Kane and Berna to just ignore the bats. DKS moving on to phase 3.
Yes, indeed.
So it's looking. Again, making a quick shout out to the fantastic writing in this randomizer.
Oh, and maybe you're not has gotten his fire rod, so he'll be making his way over to Turtle Rock now, and then to Ganon's Tower from there.
And DKS about to clean up this fight with Ganon. I believe that's 2 shots. And that's 3. How many shots does Ganon take? I forgot.
4.
4 shots.
And that was shot.
Oh, with his fourth and
so
final
Ganon
shot.
Wait for him to get across that bridge.
And we're almost ready on time there. Meanwhile, Ivan is on phase 4 of Ganon, so not too far behind.
Yes, indeed.
Certainly, for what it's worth, catching a couple of fantastic moves at the end.
And DKS being our first to finish here was actually 3rd place overall, but still a very nice time.
Gorgeous run. Ivan's hot on his heels, of course. About to grab the Triforce himself. And with that, all we have left is Salty Fry and Maybe or Not for
And
at least among these 4 racers for place.
We do have DKS here on standby. If you want to get him in here real quick.
Salty Fry finishing up the Aghanim fight on his way to Ganon.
Yep, Ivan is done with his as well. That's Ivan was 4th overall, so he was right behind DKS, even in the overall race standings.
That's what I like to see. We also have Ivan on standby with us now. Not sure if they're allowed to enter with us yet, but Salty Fry onto the 3rd phase of Ganon. And Maybe or Not still taking that painful climb through Turtle Rock.
He's still trucking along, though. Making decent time.
Salty Fry about to clean up Ganon. Just gotta light that one torch. Oh, but Salty Fry also having to do spin attacks. He never did get the silver arrows.
That is true, and that's a pretty good number of spins you gotta make.
However, Salty Fry doing his best job. Anywho, we have Ivan joining us as well as DK.
Welcome,
Congratulations, guys.
Game.
Hello.
Hi, GG.
Yeah, GG. Let's race.
So,
Yes.
how about that seed?
Man, I felt really good for a long time, and then I just couldn't find the dumb fire rod.
Yeah, that fire rod was pretty well hidden there.
Yeah, it's a fun scene.
quick little update from the stream. Salty Fry has just defeated Ganon, and he's clocking in with his time.
So yeah, I always enjoy seeds that have items on Ega Ledge because it's just like most people skip that, especially in open mode. So I know a lot of people are gonna get like what's the word? They're gonna lose out on a lot of time.
That is true.
Yeah.
That was definitely a good decision to make, and I don't think any of our featured. I don't think any of you guys actually skipped out on Lumberjack Ledge, at least not for any significant amount of time.
No. We now have Salty Fry joining us as well. Congratulations, Salty.
Thank you.
So, Silverless Ganon.
Yeah, it is what it is. You get used to it after a while.
Fair
At
enough.
least I had Tempered Sword this time. The last few times I've only had Master Sword, so Tempered Sword's nice for that.
Oh, Master Sword Silverless is rough.
Actually, I believe you were the only person this run who did not grab silvers. It was in Sea House, if you were curious.
It must have been somewhere over in Village of Outcast area. I never even set foot in that area. Thieves Town, Skull Woods, that whole area. I never really had a reason to go over there.
Yeah, it could have been Fire Rod.
Yeah, eventually I was going to head over there, but I found Fire Rod before I needed it. So before I
Absolutely.
was heading over there, right? And I have a tendency of just kind of heading towards the end, as you probably noticed, and kind of hoping I find stuff along the way. And if I don't, then I reassess the situation at that point in time and go back and start looking elsewhere.
Where were the flippers?
Hey, we're in the
Flipper-
big chest in Turtle Rock.
Oh God. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I go-moded Ice Palace before going up to Turtle Rock.
same.
And the last thing I wanted to find when I went up there was the flippers, and sure enough, I found the flippers and the mirror, and I'm like, okay, great. So that means I can go check Swamp, and now that opens up Ice Palace that I'd already go-moded, which was exactly what I did not want to have. Because I was kind of hoping to find the flippers somewhere deep in Turtle Rock, like that's kind of what I was thinking. I figured they'd be Fire Rod locked, so I would end up go-moding Ice anyway, and I was willing to take that chance. So I was wrong. It happens. You live with your decisions.
I will say I was a little worried when we saw you go moding Ice Palace that Fire Rod was going to actually be in there.
You know what? When I look at it, like, I didn't have the flippers yet, right? So, like, I'm thinking, like, the flippers could very well be Fire Rod locked. If that's the case, Fire Rod can't be in there. And there was tons of other places. Like, I hadn't been in Thieves Town. I hadn't even touched the whole Village of Outcast area. Swamp was out there, although I obviously wasn't in Logic at that point in time. And I still hadn't been up to Death Mountain yet, so I was thinking, like, it could be up on Death Mountain or in Turtle Rock, so I'll go check that after this. And if it is, I'm golden. Obviously, it wasn't, and I had to go check. I ended up checking Swamp, which was completely useless. But overall, it kind of felt like it worked out reasonably well, all things considered.
Of course. Quick little update from the final racer. Maybe or Not has just gotten the Ganon's Tower big key and is climbing his way up right now.
Yeah, not making bad time at all.
So, any hot takes on Hookshot on Lumberjack?
Like I said before, I love it.
I was kind of hoping. I really only got it because I figured that was our access to East Death Mountain. Because I was planning on just hoping that Swamp was not a crystal, and that we didn't actually need it. Well, I didn't actually need it.
Yeah, I mean, you did hover quite a bit of that, so
Yeah.
I guess Hookshot really isn't a required item for you. And you were not shy about showing that off.
I mean, once you're at a point where you can do it, why not, right?
Pretty much.
Any other things you guys want to say about the seed or about the run in general?
I'm kind of upset at myself for not realizing when I got Master Sword that Hookshot would actually open East Death Mountain, and instead I went to Pod and Skull Woods, and then as I was going into Skullwoods, I realized, oh, Hookshot would open East Death Mountain Hera, and that's probably the intended progression. And so that kind of sucks that I lost that time there. But I still enjoyed that the Hookshot was there, and it was actually the progression, and it couldn't have been like Mirror.
Yeah, Mirror can lead some questioning in regards to item requirements.
Certainly. Of course, as we all know now, that Mir really only locked the Fire Rod as far as progression for this seed.
None of you ended up taking the Sahasrara bait, by the way, which was
That
fun
would
to
have been
watch.
that would have been my next play actually after turning in that mushroom. That was the next place I was going to go since I'd basically done swamp. I made my way up to that cave with the mushroom in it, so I figured I was going to. Originally, I was just going to go straight to Sahasrara after that, but I'm like, well, I'll turn in the mushroom first. So I turned in the mushroom first, and it'll save me a trip to Sahasrara.
Yeah, and as maybe you're not found out, Sahasrara has the shovel,
Bit of a prankster this run.
which there was just a big 20 at the dig spot. So you skipped a couple of extra checks there.
Yeah, thankfully for like my routing, Swamp was never going to be in the consideration because Fire Rod was go mode. So, and I never I did Turtle Rock the first 2 chests, so and I left after that, and so I never got baited into potentially going into Swamp.
Well, Fire Rod could have been in there because flippers were 100% in logic.
Yeah, but because I didn't know that, I didn't actually get flippers. So
No, I know, but I don't know. I'm just saying that absolutely could have been in there though. Yeah.
I think Salty Fry was also the only person to check Zora. No, Ivan also did.
Yeah.
Salty Fry
they gave us
checked it a lot sooner.
Yeah, there were so many rupees early on there, you figure it might as well.
And then Powder led to Cape. How did you feel about that one?
I figured that was what was supposed to get my hook shot. Then thankfully I found another sword because I hate doing Aga's Tower with just fighter sword.
Understandably so. Those some of the enemies definitely take a little bit more effort with that fighter sword.
Like I was kind of setting it up that way. Like I'd gone into Hyrule Castle, like I did the basement part, and then went and did the back part, and I found the power glove back there. Like originally my plan was just to death warp back to the front and head up Aga's Tower at that point in time. I'm like, well, no, wait, let's go search for a better weapon somewhere. Because like even if I find like the fire rod or the bow or anything like that, would make it so much easier than just doing it with the fighter sword.
And you still need the different item to fight Aghanim with a fighter sword, which the net was in Palace of Darkness. What did you have then? Just hammer?
The fighter sword's fine to fight him with. You just need the
Oh, you
master
can't-
sword. You need master sword or cape to get through that little barrier. That's what you need.
Oh.
Yeah, and then lamp if you're not familiar with the dark rooms.
Anywho, maybe you're not has just finished up his Aghanim fight, so he'll be taken on again relatively soon. Still looking to be under 2 hours, which is a very good bragging right.
Yeah, sub 2 hours always. I would always consider that a good run.
If we're meant to have midnight snacks, why is there a light in the fridge?
Ganon does seem to like his food.
He's looked for Andy a couple times too. Anywho, maybe you're not making quick work out of Ganon's phases. Also taking the Cane of Burna approach to ignore the fire bats.
with that half magic, it's certainly not a hard thing to do.
And catching the 2 cycles, heading into phase 3.
And coming up on phase 4 here, getting a nice. Oh, nope, just missing that first double.
Another double missed. However, this should be the final shot to take him down.
Yep, there's his final shot on Ganon. That means maybe or not is finishing up just as soon as he crosses that perilous bridge.
Maybe or not. Here he comes. And with that, maybe or not, still holding that strong sub 2 hours.
Yes, in
So, of course, maybe or not should be joining us shortly so for a little bit more of a chat and his takes. All around good race by all 4.
Oh yes, certainly. We always appreciate the folks that decide to volunteer to let themselves be featured.
It's quite interesting watching all 4 of you back at the beginning of the game take 4 variously different paths. Half you went up, half you went down. Definitely fun to watch.
Basically scattered to the 4 winds. I suppose we'll see soon if maybe or not wants to come in for an interview.
So let's see. I think the only thing we ended up not knowing where it was on the seed was Quake.
That's right. We didn't ever see that. We never saw that medallion.
So I'm guessing it's either behind Blind Mothula or Laser Bridge.
Yeah, we never saw the laser bridge either, did we?
Did anyone even check Laser Bridge, or was that pretty much done every time?
Yeah, I had no reason to by the time I got there.
Yeah.
Well, that answers that question.
Yeah, my first trip, I ended up getting almost all the way there. So then my second trip, I got 2 keys on the right side, and that was all I needed at that point.
The advantages of fake go mode.
Yeah, I guess in the end, it made Turtle Rock the second time quite quick, because basically I had to check the right-hand side, and then it was just literally straight to Trinex after that. I didn't stop for anything. And it actually saves a lot of time in Turtle Rock when you start thinking about how much time you're spending in those pipes, going back and forth and going outside and back in. Like, I bet you it's only 2 or 3 minutes to get all the way to Trinex that way instead of like 6.
Yeah. So we're still not sure if maybe or not is going to be joining us. And Couch Clash sleeps once again, bringing us to the end screen.
And while we're waiting, a quick shout out to our trackers for this evening. You did a wonderful job. And those are Marty7449 and Forgotten to Pay. So thank those guys for keeping those
Next.
trackers up to date.
Absolutely. Keeping track of 2 games is hard enough. I'm sure 4 is a nightmare.
And especially with them having scattered at the beginning like they did.
Those guys are the real heroes of this run, I can tell you that. And with that, once again, congratulations to all our runners. I think we're going to be calling it here. Once again, congratulations to all our runners. Feel free to, if you like what you see, feel free to follow up Speed Gaming. This one is Speed Gaming 3, but you can also check them out at speedrunslive.com or .net, I think. And if you really like them, feel free to drop the subscription, $5 or a Twitch Prime account, and you can get some emotes and a little bit of benefits from all the action. Meanwhile, Ivan's about to play some Devolver Digital. Not sure what that is, but I'm certainly curious. Once again, shoutouts to my co-caster, Obscure Jackal. Fantastic work. Pleasure working with you.
And you as well.
And I don't think there's anything I missed end stream announcement wise.
I think we pretty much covered it.
Check
Thank
out the
you
Discord
all.
server. Check out the game.
Of course. Other than that, thank you all for showing up and supporting.
And with that, have a wonderful evening and a wonderful tomorrow.